Okay, so the other side of this piecewise graph would be the linear part, right here. This is the linear part. And where do I start? Again, if it says only x values from 2 on up, we'll put 2 in. So if you put in the 2 right here, half of 2, negative 1/2 times 2 is what? Negative 1/2 times 2 is negative 1 plus 6 is 5. Oh, so the answer is 5. I put in 2, I get out 5. Is it closed or is it open? It's open because there's no equal sign here, so it's open. Now, for you to get more points, you can either plot, just put in numbers, or you can look at the slope. The slope is what? 1 down, 2 over. Okay, so 1 down, 2 to the right would get you somewhere in that 4 range, I guess. I could keep this up, and there it is. Okay, there's the function, right? It's a piece of a parabola to the left. It's a piece of a line to the right. Okay. Now here comes the question. The question is, what's the limit of f of x as x approaches 2? What's the limit of f of x? There's the graph is f of x as x approaches 2. I heard 5. Let's see if it is. From the right, if I approach 2 from the right, I keep getting these points. I'm heading towards that one. From the left, as I approach 2, I keep getting those. It's the same number. It's 5. The limit is not the hard part. What was hard for you?
Math.
Nope. The math. I mean, this is the math. I think it's the graphing. I think the graphing got you. You didn't know how to quite graph that function. That might have been the hardest part. That problem is on your assignment today. I think it's number 61. Okay? So when you run into it, just graph it on your own and then answer the question. Okay? All right. So what's the rest of the lesson? It's right here. Okay? So today is Friday, so it's kind of a nice day just to just do something that's really kind of just number crunching today. And it's just a quick sneak preview of what's coming. What's coming is 12.3. 12.3 is all about derivatives. Derivatives, okay? So the big word here is derivatives, and we will find them on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday we reviewed it. So how do you find the derivative? You actually use this difference quotient, which is actually right here. That's it, okay? So you're going to use this to help you find the derivative. What's the derivative? You don't know. It's coming on Monday. I'll tell you what it is, but today it's just nothing but, you got to know how to number crunch this stuff. Otherwise, we can't really find the derivative. So, take a look at this. This is a what kind of problem? What does it say? It's a limit. It's a limit problem. So I want the limit of this problem, this quotient, difference quotient, as h approaches 0. Okay, so how do I do this? It says take your function and stick what in it? What number am I going to put into my function?
0.
Not 0. 2 plus h. It says right here. Take your function, put what in? 2 plus h. Then subtract what? Your function when you evaluate it at 2. Okay? And then the whole thing is always going to be divided by what letter? H. You don't even know what h is. Monday I'll tell you about h, and I'll tell you about the whole derivative thing. It's all about crunching. So where's the function I'm supposed to put this in? It's right there. The function's right there. So you put your number in. Well, 2 plus h is your number. That goes in for x. So what's f of 2 plus h? Well, you put it into your function over here. And that's how you start the problem. So we go like this. Okay, draw your fraction bar, because that's what you have, a fraction bar. And then stick 2 plus h in. Well, I'm going to put 2 times x squared. For x squared, I'll go like this, and then plus 1. So I'm writing the function, but then what am I putting in for x? 2 plus h. You got to put it in. Okay. 2 plus h. Okay. That's the first part right here. Okay. Now it says to subtract what? What am I going to subtract? F of 2. Well, that means put the number 2 into your function, which means put it right in there. Okay, so I'll do that. And by the way, since there's two parts to this, I better go this answer minus this answer. Okay? Well, f of 2 goes in here. It'd be 2 times x squared, put the 2 in, plus 1. So first I put in 2 plus h, then I work it out. Then I put in 2, then I work it out. Then I subtract. And it's always divided by what letter? H. It's always going to be divided by h. Okay? All right. You need to start working that out, and then combine the top terms and actually work it out. I don't have to do that for you. Get on the right page. I'm ready to
Get off his back. He is nothing.
Okay, Harry, just get on the right page.
Can't do anything anyway.
No pencil? Something happened here. Just take a look at it. Just something slightly wrong. Slightly. Okay. I'm going to have to tell some of you this. 2 plus h squared really means 2 plus h times what? 2 plus h. So you have to do this. You have to FOIL that piece out. What is 2 plus h times 2 plus h? Okay, hang on, John. 1 second. That's a 2 in front, okay? Then I got the plus 1. Okay, so John's already kind of started this. He said first times first is what? 4. Okay, and then this is going to be what, guys? 2h plus 2h. That's what? 4h plus h times h is h squared. Okay, so this is what I got when I FOIL. Can somebody help me out here? Minus, what's this number in here? 9. Okay. Everybody good? Over what? H. Okay, so now you need to simplify what's in there. Well, we're going to have to run the 2 through and get 2. Oh, I did that wrong. Sorry. You're going to get what? 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 4h is 8h. Plus 2h squared plus 1. Okay? And then you're supposed to subtract what? Subtract the 9. Okay, so minus 9. Over h. Typically, guys, when you get to this last part, things just start to cancel out. So what happens with just the numbers? 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 take away 9 is 0. They're all gone. What's left is this. So I'm just going to write that down. I'll put my h squared term first. I'll put my 8h last. All of it over what? H. Now what? Yeah, see, what you want is to get rid of stuff. And if you factor, lots of good things happen. What do you want me to factor out?
H.
Just h? I could factor out a 2 if I wanted, but all I really want to do is cancel that h, so I'll just leave it. 2 is fine, you can take out 2. You'd have what left? 2h plus 8. And once you get multiplication over multiplication, start dividing. Well, this h divided by that h is, that's just 1. That's out. You have a 1 here now and a 1 here. So really this is what? 2h plus 8. Hang on. This is a limit problem. Go back up to the top. Wasn't it? Go back up there and drag it down. Wasn't this the limit as h approaches what? 0. So now go back to your direct substitution. Stick it in here and work it out. What's the limit? Direct substitution says if you get a number, it's the limit. 8. Okay. So you worked out that quotient, that difference quotient, you got 8. And I'm telling you, Monday comes, you'll start hearing the word derivative. You just found the derivative. Okay? You don't know what it means, but you found it. Okay? But today is more about can you work this formula and can you work it out to get an answer. And that's really what my last 5 problems are on your assignment. Did I go too fast, too slow, what? You okay? A lot of it is algebra. It's just basic 9th grade algebra, a little maybe some algebra 2 in there. Here's the next one. Take the difference quotient right here. So it's going to be your function at this x value minus your function at this x value over h. Where's your function? Right here. There's your function. Get started. I'll do the bottom for you. I'm done. Just drawing arrows, just trying to show you I'm putting in what number? X plus h goes in for x, and then I slide it over to the function. So it's 2 times x plus h minus 5. Good? Then you subtract f of x. So it's this minus this. What are you going to put into this bracket? Yeah, it says subtract your function. Oh, you want me to subtract my function? Well, my function is 2x minus 5. There it is. So really, this is your work on this second slide, or this third slide. Okay, do your distribution, add like terms, cancel out h's if you can. See what you get. You already have it? I see it.
It's all over h. Alright, so we're in 2h over h.
Which is 2h divided by h. Yeah. H is canceled. Now take the limit. The limit of h approaches 0 of 2. Did you mess up? Okay. Did you mess up right now? Or did you get that? A little off there. What's wrong there? Actually, the h is canceled out. Okay. What? Is it what?
No. What CC was did you get?
I don't know how you take these.
Oh,
Oh.
But it's 0.
Yeah, I'll show you. Okay, ready? Here we go. The math on this is not hard, but I think some of you forgot to do one thing. What's this? What's this? It's 2x plus 2h. Take away 5.
No, I had a minus 10.
I don't think that's your problem. I think this is your problem. It says to subtract your function. Well, this is negative 1 times this times this. So that would make what? Negative 2x what? Plus 5 over h. I think that's where you got caught. I think some of you put minus 5 here. Okay, Anything cancel?
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of stuff, right? This. So you end up with what? 2 times h over, isn't this a 1 times h? And because you have multiplication over multiplication, you're allowed to divide. Go ahead. What divides out? The h and the h are the same number. So you say this and this. Make 1 over 1. The answer is what? 2. But that, wait a minute. That's the function that we simplified. So we simplified it and got 2. Okay, but this problem was the limit. What's the limit of this function 2 as h approaches 0? Hang on, I put this equal sign here. I really didn't mean to. Okay, so when I worked out that quotient difference, came down, I got 2. Tell me the limit of 2 as h approaches 0. That's your function at 2. It's like saying what? Yeah, it's like saying f of x equals 2. So y equals 2. What does the graph look like? Y equals 2 is just a horizontal line, right? So really, this is the graph you're kind of staring at, even though you're not. You're supposed to be thinking this. As h approaches 0, now you don't know what h is. I'll tell you Monday. But watch this. As you come closer to 0 this way and this way, you just get what kind of points? 2, 2, 2, 2. I mean, you're just coming in from the right. You're coming in from the left. You're hitting this point. This point is what? 0, 2. The limit is what? 2. I did one of these on day 1. I said if you ever have the limit of a number, the limit is the number. Probably don't remember. I did. Questions? Jeff? No. Do you guys, hey, I saw a 10, I saw a 10. I didn't see this side over here, but we had 10. I think what happened to you guys is you forgot to do this, right?
Yeah, that was the thing.
Right here?
Yeah.
That caught you. Okay, so remember that. Okay, go to the next slide. See what happens.
Oh, I don't know how to do it.
And this one's a radical.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Oh, you can
Okay, I'll come to you. Okay, this one's a radical, and it gets a little messy. So just, do your best. I'm gonna draw you a couple pictures. Take this, put it in here. This goes back into here, correct? All right, here we go. So when you put x plus h into that, what did this read?
X plus h.
Yeah, but it's still the radical. The root of x plus h minus 1, right? Isn't that what you got? Okay. Then you subtracted what? This. You subtracted your function. What's your function?
Square root of x minus 1.
Yeah, square root of x minus 1. Okay. And it's always divided by h, right? Okay. Now, you remember the last 2 problems? It was kind of like, oh, FOIL it out, and then the other one was really kind of simple. You just add like terms, and they just cancel out. Well, this one's not so nice. If you remember, I kind of want to throw this at you because I didn't do it in the very beginning. But if you guys remember, if you do direct substitution at any point, like here, do you realize if you just let h be 0, you'd get what? Square root of x minus 1 minus square root of x minus 1, and this would be 0. Do you realize this minus this is just 0 over 0? So that's why this is not working. We know the limit exists, but we got that answer again from yesterday. So I got to know, how can I clean up that ugly looking expression? We did it yesterday. Multiply by whatever it's called.
Conjugate?
There it is. yesterday we rationalized the numerator. Let's do it again. Okay, let me see if I can grab this and go down further. Yeah, because this gets kind of long. Okay, so here I go. If you multiply by the conjugate, you better know what the conjugate is. What's the conjugate of the top?
X plus h minus 1.
Square root of what?
X plus h minus 1.
Okay. What happens here?
Plus
Plus. Okay, then what? Square root of x minus 1. Okay. So when you multiply the top by the conjugate, to be fair, you got to multiply the bottom by the conjugate. And really what you're doing is you're multiplying your fraction by 1. This number, the conjugate over the conjugate, is just 1. You're not changing the fraction. You're just changing the look. Now what was so cool about multiplying by conjugates? You don't have to do the oi, he says. Oi. What's oi? You don't have to do this, right? The oi, he says, outer, inner. Because what do? They do cancel out. They cancel out, and why waste your time? So if you just do first, last, you're done. Okay, let's try it. First. First term times first term is, x plus h minus 1. X plus h minus 1. Now I'm going to subtract. Be careful here, guys. Because when you do last times last, notice, I should have put that subtraction sign down. I should have said, what's a negative times a positive? Negative, okay? But what are you going to subtract? X minus 1, root x minus 1 times itself.
so you end up getting
You end up getting x minus 1. That's the answer, but you have to subtract the answer, which means you run it through, and what happens?
Minus x plus 1.
Okay, yep. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite that on top. X plus h minus 1. This makes negative x. This makes plus 1. And that's why students will get this wrong on a quiz or a test, okay? Because of this, right here. Okay, what happened? Oh, shoot. I forgot to do the bottom. I forgot. H times that. Did I mention this yesterday?
just leave it like that.
Just leave it. You don't want to multiply through because you want multiplication to cancel with multiplication. Just write it down. It is h times root x plus h minus 1 plus root x minus 1. Now help me out here. The top, the h is what?
Cancel.
Cancel, okay. What else? The ones. And the h here and the h down here do what? They do cancel, but when you cancel things out, you're supposed to say 1 over 1. So what's the answer? 1 over square root of x plus h minus 1 plus square root of this. Okay. There's nothing more to do other than take the limit. The whole problem is about the limit. As h approaches 0, what's the limit? Try your direct substitution because this will take you to the answer. Okay? If you throw 0 in, this just becomes what? Isn't this just going to become root x minus 1 plus root x minus 1? Now together, that's like saying m plus m. That's all that is, just adding like terms. You have like radicals. What's the answer? 1 over, yeah. There's a 1, it's 2 root x minus 1. And that is the limit. By the way, that is the derivative also. I don't expect you to know what that means. I just want to tell you that's the derivative. Because when you get here Monday, I'll show you what it is, and then you'll go, that's the derivative, and that means this? Yeah, that's what it is. Yep. Today is nothing but number crunching. Just crunch the numbers and get that kind of answer. There's only a couple that look this messy in the end, okay? I have a day 2 assignment. It's actually, well, it was right there. Now it's gone.
Well, actually, it's telling me to stop, so I will.
Okay. I must not have saved it. Okay, so I didn't save it. I do know that's the beginning, that's the end, and it goes like this. Hang on, there's more. There's more. Can't find it, so I'll have to make up my noise. I gave a bunch of odds is what I did.
You can just skip it.
Yeah, let's just skip it.
I don't think we're that good. I like 11, I like 3rd. Yeah, 19's good. I think 3's good. How about a 31? And that's it. There. That might be slightly different than period 5. But just so you know, this is actually day 1. So you did the evens yesterday, now you get the odds so you know if you get them right. This is the new stuff. This is what I just went over. Okay, 71 to 76. That's the only thing that's new to you. Okay.
So yesterday is the same as on their calendar?
Yes. I just didn't see there was a day 2. So I'll have to push everything back in. Oh, except I did tell one class that what that does, to keep your test on May 22nd, I had 3 days of review, now we're down to 2 days of review, sorry. But that's what it did.
Our test is on Monday now.
You know, your test is on a Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
I believe. I might be wrong.